I say again, echo, decimal 3, 4, decimal 8. Same chart, over. Roger. Latitude plus 0 decimal 523. Longitude divided by 2, 11 decimal 710. Over. Roger that. There we go. Roger, that's clear. That's clear, but I think it's the same problem. Any rebuzz? Loud and clear. You're really coming in beautifully. Over. Okay. Stay. And plus 1 DGA. And go. Alright, step 3 view. Roger, LOS and AOS times for you this pass with misset. LOS 109er plus 21 plus 12. AOS coming around the corner 110 0735. Over. Roger that. Okay, if you'd like to look again, next pass we have a different set of coordinates based on the onboard T-57. These are echo decimal 3 and 4 decimal 8. I say again, echo decimal 3, 4 decimal 8. Same chart, over. Roger. Latitude plus 0 decimal 523. Longitude divided by 2, 11 decimal 710. Over. Roger that. There we go. Roger, that's clear. That's clear, but I think it's the same problem. Any rebuzz? Loud and clear. You're really coming in beautifully. Over. Okay. Stay. And plus 1 DGA.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Thursday night code and chill, working on Descent Horizon. How's everybody's day been going so far? I had empanadas for dinner and they were delicious, and I swallowed them in like 5 minutes. It was amazing. Hey Pirate, how's it going, man? Welcome back to the stream. It's good to see you again. How was your week? Oh, something's weird. No, I don't want to quit iTerm. All right. So, been doing a bunch of work on Descent Horizon this week. I have been continuing to work through the same like reactivity, the UI reactivity stuff I've been working on. I'm finally starting to see like a light at the end of the tunnel here. I've gotten most of like the layout stuff squared away, so like a lot of that is good to go, and like if I pretty much everything else is like stylistic, like colors and stuff like that, which won't be too bad going forward. Like the layout stuff was the hard part, because that, you know, that changes how everything mounts onto the page, and it's pretty painful to reason about sometimes. But I'm done with pretty much all the layout rewrites, so now it's just I have a couple of those stylistic things like background colors, font families, and all that. But I think hopefully in like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks at the most, I'll be done with the UI rewrite, and I'll be able to actually start getting to some of the more fun stuff of building a game, which is, you know, actually adding features to the game and not doing stuff that is in like the background that nobody sees. But you know, it's one of those things where like if you don't do it, your performance is gonna suck, and then people are gonna notice. So you don't do it, people notice. You do it, people don't notice. It's one of those kind of things. But that's been my life for the past 2 months. But today I actually had a pretty cool idea for what I want to implement. We're not gonna do any of that UI stuff this time. Here, let me show you guys what I think is the problem in the game right now, and I'll show you an idea that I have to potentially solve it. So if you run the game, it takes a second to boot up, but once you're in the game, right, and you're falling, like, I don't know how well you can see it on stream. There's stars in the background, and as you're falling, you can kind of tell your like relative motion based off of the stars. So meaning like if the stars are going up behind you, you know you're falling, right? And you know, if the stars are going to the left, you're moving to the right. I think that's fine. But it's also kind of, in my opinion, a little bit hard to tell. At least as like as a newer player, it's kind of hard to tell exactly which way you're moving. So, and that's part of why I added these like volumetric like particles after your like flame burns out, so you can see like, okay, my particles are over there, so I moved over. But I want to give like a stronger signal to the player of like how they're moving. That feels kind of diegetic, and I feel like something that could be cool is I want to do, I think I'm going to call it like an inertial echo kind of system for the heads-up display. Basically, the idea is as you're moving across the sky, since right now like we're looking at the game through a screen, right? Like the idea, the lore or the fantasy of this is like I'm looking at these screens as if I was the commander of the aircraft looking at the control panels, right? So that's why we have all these flight controls, like the flight information and all that stuff, the HUD and all that. So I think what could be cool is like having a diegetic way of actually just showing, okay, you're moving, and that the system is tracking that you're moving, right? So I'm thinking what we could do, and then also to show how fast you're moving, because right now, like this shows you, okay, your speed is 10 meters per second to the right, which is cool. But like to a player who doesn't really know meters per second, they have no clue how fast they're moving, especially relative to the surface, and especially if you don't have the LiDAR running. But even if you do have the LiDAR running, like let me show you. Actually, let me give myself infinite fuel. And stop myself from dying here real quick. Okay. Give myself infinite life. So if I'm gonna scan, right, I can scan down, and this gives me an idea of what the terrain looks like below me. And if I move faster, like, yeah, it'll update, you know, like I'll have bigger jumps as I'm flying, but it's still not really giving me the best idea of exactly how fast I'm moving, unless I'm paying attention to the stars. So what I'm thinking is I can have like these kind of like dots, almost like a ghost trail, show up. I'd have to draw it to show it, which I will. I'll show it in like Excalidraw in a second to show what I'm kind of thinking here. But like we can have a ghost trail of like, let's say like the last 3 positions of the last 3 seconds of where you were, right? So like if 3 seconds ago I was over here, I'd have a dot over here or whatever. And that way the player can see, okay, like it's been 3 seconds, how far have I traveled in those 3 seconds? And that kind of should give us a bit of a idea of how fast we're traveling without having to rely super hard on the stars. And then the other thing is we can also show, okay, like we can color code those like little blips based off of your current velocity, meaning like if you're moving not too fast, the blips might be in green. If you're moving like past a certain speed, maybe the blips are going to be like in orange or then starting to turn red, you know. And then that way you have another like visual indicator of how fast you're moving. I don't know how well this is going to work, I'll be honest. So I kind of want to try implementing it and see how that looks. I was thinking maybe dynamic screen shake. I do have dynamic screen shake implemented, kind of. Maybe I just don't have enough of it, but like right now, the screen, is the screen shaking? Yeah, it's shaking. It's just not shaking very hard. It shakes based off of your throttle, but it's also like as you're moving, it's hard to see how much the screen is shaking, especially like here, like okay, the lidar is shaking, but relative to the background, it's not, you can't really see the shaking effect, you know? And I think it's just because there's not really anything to anchor your eyes to. And maybe this will not be as bad of an effect like once you're lower to the ground and you can see more of the like the actual terrain. But that still doesn't solve the problem because like okay, well, I need to know how fast I'm moving when I'm high up, or I should have some idea, right? And games like Kerbal Space Program or whatever, they can solve this because some area, like some planets, they'll have an atmosphere, right? So like if I'm falling quickly down onto the surface of Earth, right, the atmosphere will actually heat up the craft, and then I can visually see, oh crap, I'm moving pretty fast because my craft is heating up, and you know, then I can just, I guess, intuitively know, hey, maybe I should start slowing down before something happens before I impact, right? The moon doesn't really have an atmosphere, so we can't really do that without like kind of lying to the player, and I don't really want to do that if I can get away with it, so I kind of want to play with it. Pirate says, also, bigger stars would definitely make the movement easier to feel. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Right now, the stars are literally just drawn as points on the screen, just because I wanted to have something in there. I need to change it to have an actual sprite for the stars and have different sizes for them. And I think you're probably right that it would make the movement more noticeable. But I also want to have something where I can point to players and be like, hey, like, there's an actual system in the game that will help you visually see how quickly you're moving, you know? Or like at least visually see where you are compared to where you were. Because like when you're looking here at this big empty space, right? Like a lot of the game is going to be played in a big empty space. Like yes, there's all the ground below you and all that, and you're looking for a spot to land. It's not like we're not high enough to be in orbit, right? So it's not like you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff up here, like satellites or anything like that to give you like a feeling of where you are. And there's like, you can't really look below you, you know? There's like this zoom functionality which kind of lets you like look a little further down if I right click, and that zooms out quite a bit, but like I'm not expecting players to fly around, you know, zoomed out like that all the time. So yeah, that's the problem, right? Now I'll show you guys what I'm thinking of for the solution here. So like, let's say we have a craft, right? This is, I'll draw a beautiful lander, right? This is our lander. Got the legs. This looks like a person, right? Okay. This is the lander, whatever, right? Okay. Now, you also have your, like, heads-up display here, right? And then the world would be, let's say, like the screen that you're seeing. Jesus. The screen that you're seeing, like when you're playing, is like that, right? What I'm thinking is like, all right, let's say 3 seconds ago you were over here, so you'll have a dot right there. Maybe not a dot specifically, just like some sort of icon, right? You'll have some sort of icon over here. Then you move down into the right, you'll have an icon over here, and you'll have an icon over here, right? And this is going to give you kind of like a little trajectory. And we can even maybe connect it with lines at some point, whatever, depending on what looks good. But these can, like, imagine if you're starting to move really fast, now these can maybe start turning red, right? And like this is giving you two pieces of information, right? You're seeing, okay, what's my trajectory? Where have I traveled, right? And they fade out. It's just the most like recent 3, 4, 5 like positions. And then the distance between these is actually a good way of seeing how fast you're moving too, because like if you're moving pretty slowly, these are going to be bunched up together, but if you're moving pretty quickly, they're going to be more spaced apart. And then not only that, but you'll also like physically see them turning a different color. So that's what I'm thinking of. I'm going to just start implementing it with like just squares. On the screen, on the HUD, and then we'll see how that looks, see how it feels, and if it feels good, then I can put more time into like actually polishing it and, you know, adding a whole UI for it. So I'm thinking this is something that could potentially live on the lander, right? But it's not, it's related to the lander, but it's not really like a feature of the lander. It's more of like some subsystem that's kind of tracking this. And honestly, it's really only relevant to the UI, right? So I don't want to store it on the lander itself, like these little, the positions at least. I don't want to store it on the lander itself, because then they'll, like, I'm going to have a reference to the lander whenever I want to get those positions, which, yeah, maybe I'll have a reference to it whenever I need it, but I don't want to have to, like, pigeonhole myself into that. So what I can do is I can decouple it. I already have a system for the lander UI. So I have lander UI behavior, right? And lander UI behavior, this is the actual bit of code that handles everything that you're seeing on the screen when you're inside of the lander, when you're piloting the lander. So we have like the terminal panel, right? And like the main game panel and all that stuff. I'm thinking what we can have, and like there's already other stuff here, like the hazard tracker, right? The hazard tracker is like when you're scanning with the LiDAR scanner and you see like one of the asteroids get lit up or something, right? The hazard tracker is what's actually tracking those and showing them to you on your screen. So I'm thinking this could just be like another one of these UI components, and it can just synchronize, kind of similar to how all the other bits of the UI synchronize. So if I go to lander UI behavior HPP, I have a lot of these like individual components, the ones that need to be like addressable, like the hazard tracker, for example, because I want to be able to add or remove things from its tracking. I just have it stored as a property of the class, of the instance of the class. So I'm thinking like what I feel like is reasonable is to have a new UI element added in here that handles the inertial echoing, right? But before I commit to that, I just want to like poke around my code base a little bit, because I haven't really like thought about how I was going to implement this at all. I kind of wanted to just do it all live. So I'm going to poke around the code base a little bit, and I'm going to see if there's anywhere better that I can do this, because in order to know the lander's like last X positions, like let's say last 3 positions, right? If we're just keeping a snapshot, I need to store that somewhere, right? And I just want to find a good place that's going to be stored. So like, for example, the lander UI behavior, it has this hook called sync UI behaviors, sync UI models. And I have this concept of like, I try to separate the actual game objects from the things that the UI is tracking. So a UI model might be like some shallow copy of, it's not a shallow copy of the game object, but it's a shallow like facade in front of the game object. So let's say like I want to get some information about the lander. I don't want the lander, every individual game component or like UI component to have a reference to the lander, right? Like the lander UI behavior, the actual behavior that's, you know, controlling this portion of the UI, maybe it'll have a reference to the lander, but each individual component doesn't need a reference to the lander, because I can get messy. So what I do instead is I have this lander UI model, and that synchronizes once per frame off of what's on the lander, right? So lander UI model might not be the worst place to store that. If I put like, let's say I keep an array, right? Like a array with 3 items in it, and I always just like, as I'm adding, I kick one out, you know, I add to the front, kick from the back, just always rotate and only keep 3 items in there. That won't be too bad. The interesting thing though is like with the UI models, they usually like mirror some exact field that exists on the game object that they're actually trying to track. And in this case, the lander UI model, we would be kind of straying from that, because like all these other fields, they're some exact value on the lander, versus if I was to add this array tracking the positions of like the previous positions of the lander, it wouldn't be anything that's actually stored in the lander. I don't think that's necessarily bad, right? It's not like bad design or anything like that, but it's also not like it's something to keep in mind, I guess, as I'm going through it. I'm keeping it in mind so that I don't like paint myself into a corner. Um, yeah. So I'm thinking like in the lander UI model sync, right? All it does is it takes in a pointer to the lander and then it copies over some field, right? So I'm thinking the lander UI model can store, and these are all signals, by the way, like pulse signals, meaning like if a piece of UI relies on it, then whenever one of these changes, the UI will actually update automatically, like reactively, instead of having to go and like find the signal and try to reread it or whatever. It'll be notified like, hey, this specific property changed, so you need to recalculate your position or whatever. So yeah, I think what I can do is I can add a signal, and normally I wouldn't actually store a nested object into a signal. Typically I try to keep it to primitives or something like that. And the reason for that is just because it's like kind of messy to track when a non-primitive object has changed. There's ways to do it, obviously. My library isn't like robust enough to actually track them right now. So I'm thinking like what I can do is I can have like a inertial echo generation. And basically whenever the inertial echo generation, like whenever I add a new echo to the like list of things in the inertial echo generation, I can just bump this number, right? Is that a good way to do this? Do I? Yeah, I think that's a fine way to. Let me see how the hazard tracker is doing it, because the hazard tracker, it doesn't do the exact same thing, but it does something similar enough. So the hazard tracker itself has a track hazard function, which takes in the idea of some hazard, and then it just keeps track of those. Now the thing is that I think there's also a unmount if entity destroyed. So basically, does that get checked like once per frame? Unmount if yeah. So after rendering the hazard tracker, I basically always say, hey, like, check if this entity is still alive, and if it is, like, remove it from the hazard tracker. That works fine for what this is, because like you don't get that many hazards, and they're not like constantly on the screen and constantly like rotating. But for something like the lander echo, like the inertial echo thing, it's gonna be like on a per second basis, we're going to be updating it. So I don't know if I want to constantly be doing like this check. So I feel like what I might do is on the lander, maybe similar to, well, okay, so I have the way the scanner works, right? I'm trying to remember how I implemented the scanner, because the scanner is basically a what's it called? It's a singleton class, and it has its own like update loop and stuff like that, where it has a reference to the lander, and on its own it'll go and it'll track some information about the lander whenever it's active, right? Which is basically just like, hey, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make this scan, and then it stores the scan in there. And that makes the scanner nice and self-contained. So now I'm almost thinking like, should I do something like that, where I have a inertial echo system, right? And it's like its own class. Maybe not as a singleton, because it's almost a shame to have like another singleton just to track this. It could probably live on the lander. Let me see. As like a component. So like I have like on the lander, I'll have like a shell component, right? And that's like the actual terminal that's interfacing with the lander, because like different systems can mount onto different things, you know. So yeah, the shell component exists on the lander directly. So does like the health component for the different things. Maybe I just want to have like a inertial echo component, and its job is literally like update the inertial echo system. It's gonna hold the actual array and like keep the echo positions syncing and looping through, and then what I can do is I would need a good way of updating the lander UI model's inertial echo generation. Actually, in that case, the inertial echo generation wouldn't even necessarily need to be stored on the lander UI model. I could probably just reference it. As it's like as its own thing, because it's already going to be a signal in that case. So like, all right, let's start building this. So we're gonna do a unique pointer, because the only thing that needs access to this is the lander, really. Inertial echo tracker, whatever. Okay, add that to the lander. Obviously, it doesn't exist yet. We're gonna go create that. So in the components, I have a shell component. This is really only like relevant to the lander. So I don't want to put it in like the general components section, because these are more for like, hey, any kind of system could use this, like any entity can use this. So I'm thinking like I'll put it in here. Inertial echo tracker. Boom. We'll start with just the HPP for now. All right, come on once. Okay. And then I think I want to see how I'm doing the lander particle emitter. I don't think it's inheriting from any component. Yeah. I'm not gonna inherit this from like a generic component or anything like that. It isn't. I don't think it needs it. Let me see what my generic component has. Entity component. It keeps track of the parent entity. Yeah, I don't think that's super relevant here. Like we don't need anything like that. Okay. Now it'll have an update, so we'll do like a void. Actually, make this, oopsies. Public method, void update. And that's actually going to get called to actually update the inertial like positions, right? And then I want to do, let's say, a vector. Vector. Yeah. Because I'm just thinking through the data structure here. Like I'm going to want to be able to iterate through it without necessarily popping through it. Which I think I can do that with a queue if I want to. Because what I'm going to want to be able to do is pop from one end and push onto the other end, right? And a queue can help me do that, right? That's literally the whole point of a queue. Now, I just need to double check if I can actually, in C++, if I can iterate through a queue. So I'm sure I can. I just want to double check and see what the time complexity is there. First in, first out does not support it. Yeah. See, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to actually like pop from it just to iterate through it. But double-ended queue. Okay, so day queue actually provides iteration. So I think that's what we'll use. We'll use a day queue here. Okay. Cool. So we'll go here, DQ, and then this is all I need is a couple of points. So it's going to be Singularity. Singularity provides a point for us. Echoes. Echoes? Is that echoes? How do you spell it? How do you say multiple echoes? It is with the E, I think. I think it's with the E. Okay, anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay. We need to import Singularity. I actually don't need the vector here. I need a DQ. Since this is just the header, I can't forward declare actually because I'm storing it on here. So I'll just include, oopsies, if I could type, include Singularity geometry point. There we go. Okay. We've got a place to store the echoes. Now, the update function, the update method is actually going to go and update the echoes. Then I also need the signal, or like the signal that I'm going to use for, yeah. So the signal that I would use for the AI for the UI to actually update the UI, right? I want it to just be a generation. So like every time the echoes list gets updated, we bump the number on the generation of that, and then whatever's tracking it sees like, oh, this thing changed, and now let me go refetch the echoes, right? I recalculate this function. So what I could do is I could store the signal on here directly, right? But then I have the lander UI model, which is effectively like this facade in front of the stuff that's on the lander. And I would want to be able to put the echoes, or at least the echo generation, onto the lander UI model, so that I could then go and like read in, so I could read the echoes from there, right? But if I store this as a signal here on the actual echo tracker, and then I also store a signal on the lander UI model, I'm going to have a signal that's pointing to a signal for no real reason. So I think what I can just do is here, I can just store like the generation. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. It just can be a uint, like honestly a uint8, because it's just literally just being used for like, hey, like did this thing change, right? Doesn't need a lot of space. Start with 0, uint8. T. Am I crazy here? Oh. Yeah. Extra underscore. Okay. Okay, that'll work. So then now we actually let's make the actual CPP file for this. So inertial echo tracker CPP. And we're gonna just include inertial echo tracker. Okay, now void game inertial echo tracker update. In here, we'll actually want to be able to reference the lander. So we need when we create the inertial echo tracker, we need to have the lander passed in as a pointer, and that's probably the cleanest because the lander is going to own it, and this is going to be a unique pointer anyway. I think it's fine for this to just reference the parent. So here, I'll just create a inertial echo tracker constructor, and that's going to take in a lander pointer. Lander. Okay. And since that's a pointer, we can just do inside of namespace game, we can forward declare the lander so that we don't have to actually include it here. Save us a little bit of time when we build. And then actually build out the constructor here. Okay. And then we do have to actually include it here. I think that's in game entities lander. Okay, cool. And then once we get that, actually I don't need to do anything fancy here. I can just immediately pass that into a private variable or something. So then we'll store lander pointer like that. There. So this is going to store the lander, right? If we need something in the constructor later, we can add it. As a matter of fact, let me just move this. It's just in here for no reason. I can move it out if I need it later. That way we can just have a clean constructor in the HPP file. Okay. Now, we need to like have for the inertial echo tracker, we don't want it to just be like every frame getting a new position, right? It needs to be time based. Like, hey, like every, let's say 10, like not 10 seconds. Let's say every 1 second of time passage, we want to go and like grab a new echo position, right? But I want this to be like configurable enough where I could just play with the values here without hard coding anything. So I'm thinking these don't need to be public, actually. Can have some private variables here. Static const echo frequency. Echo frequency. Hey Corbin, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good week. I think you said you were going somewhere last week. Did you end up going this weekend? Is that what happened, or is that still coming up? You said you were going to like a gaming conference or something like that, if I remember correctly. So we'll have our echo frequency just stored as a float. Actually, yeah, we'll define it here, and then we'll actually declare it in the CPP. That way we can save ourselves some build time. Jesus. Echo frequency. And then that's going to be a float. Static const. I guess I don't have to put static here, huh? Okay, so echo frequency. Yep, went to 1D4Con, a tabletop gaming convention in West Virginia. That's awesome, dude. Did you have a good time? We, out here in New York, we have a convention. It's not exactly tabletop gaming, but they do bring a lot of tabletop games. It's like Long Island. Is it Long Island Retro Gaming? And then there's one that's like Long Island. I guess maybe there is a Long Island tabletop gaming convention. I haven't been to that. I've been to the retro gaming convention. So, but no, those are really cool. I hope you had a good time, dude. Dobry večer, mi tovarish. Hey, look at you working on that Ukrainian, man. Sounding good. Sounding good. Okay. So, all right. So, yeah, we've got the echo frequency in here. Basically, what we need to do is whenever the update is called, and then we want to track the last update time. So let's just do we want to double? I'll just keep it as a double for now. I can throw it into a float if later for performance if I end up needing it. But so last echo time, last echo time. Start that off as 0. Okay. Good. So basically what we'll do is, as we call these updates, if it's been less than, like, however much time since the last echo time, excuse me, if it's been less than, like, the echo frequency amount of time since the last echo time, we'll just skip the update. So, here, what we need to do is that we need to get the elapsed time. Yeah. That's a double current time, and then we can get the elapsed time out of Singularity. In core, there is a get elapsed time, And that's just going to give us the current time. Elapsed time is really just like how much time has passed since the application has started running. But it works well for like things like this, where we just want to track frequencies. Corbin says, the con was fun. Hey, I wanted to ask, did you check out the Jai programming language at all? I don't think I've actually heard of... Have I heard of Jai? Let me see. Jai. It sounds familiar. It does sound familiar. Give me a second. Let's see. Jai lang. A programming language for games. This is... Oh, it's by Jonathan Blow. Interesting. Very interesting. Inductive. The stated aim of the language is to be a better language for programming games than C++. The language really is a general alternative to C++ with high performance, joy of programming, simplicity, low friction. Interesting. What does Jai look like? I want to see some Jai code. Where is Jai code? Why is it so hard to find? Jai, the way to Jai. I just want to see a snippet. See the Pong game in Jai. Okay. Okay, so it's dynamically typed, it looks like, or at least not strongly typed, where I don't have to define a type to use it, it'll just infer it. That's interesting. While not quit. For all event. Okay, so it's got some iterators. Looks interesting. I'll have to look into it some more. I've never heard of it. Is it like super new? Okay. The compiler isn't available to the public yet because he's still working on it, but several folks have a closed beta access. Oh, that's cool. You don't see that very often nowadays. A closed source compiler, at least, you know, even while it's in production. That's interesting. I'll have to look into it some more because it seems cool. I don't know. I do love me some C++. I used to be like so anti like typed languages, and like I didn't like the boilerplate of it all. I came from like a Ruby background. Like Ruby was my first language, and JavaScript was my second language. And for a long time, I tried not to use any typed languages. And I did Java at work at one of my jobs, and I didn't really like it. But we were like doing Java 8, Java 8 at a time when like Java 8 was not new, you know, so it wasn't fun. But I think somewhere along the way of using Java 8 and like seeing how nice all like the static typing was, or like at least knowing the types of everything ahead of time, I really started to like it. I gotta say, I really started to like it, especially when you're working on a team and you are working with other people's code, and people write different, like varying levels of quality of code. It enforces some minimum baseline, and I think that's really nice, you know? He intends to open source it once it's semi-stable, but being game-focused while being dynamically typed is interesting to me. It also compiles 1 million lines of code in like 3 seconds. Okay, that's... damn. Jeez. I don't know how he gets away with the fast compilation times and no strict types. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. I wonder... Is that like for a fresh build though? Or is that like for incremental builds? Because like 3 seconds for 1 million lines seems kind of wild. Because I have like, in this entire project, let me see, like, clock source. I have 28,000 lines of code, and that's for like the engine and the game itself. And if I do a fresh build, and I haven't like fully optimized my builds or anything like that. I spent some time, you know, trying to get things reasonable, and I have precompiled headers and all that stuff. And I try to reduce my header fan out and all of that. And still, like, if I do a fresh build, if I don't have like a bunch of stuff running on my PC and it's just like I dedicate the actual computer to building, it's like a 20-minute build, and that's 28,000 lines of code. That again, I'm sure super unoptimized. Like there's plenty of stuff that I could be doing better. Um, but I use templates pretty heavily in a few places, and that's where it gets me because I know I have a lot of like template fan out, like templatized explosion that I have to deal with. It's hard to prioritize when you're trying to build like an engine that actually works and like a game that's actually playable. It's hard to care about like a fresh build if like a normal build is only like 2 minutes. We don't know yet, but Golang's compiler is similar speed to that. I have 300k line code base and it can compile in about 5 seconds, so same order of magnitude. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not used to fast compile times. I'm not gonna lie. Like everywhere that I've worked, if it was like a compiled language, it's been not fun. I guess like this is not exactly compiled, but like TypeScript transpilation at the place where I currently work, it's not too bad. A couple of seconds for a build, but our code bases are not that big. Like maybe, I don't know, like maybe 100,000 lines of code for one of the biggest ones. But I guess that's, you know, of that order of magnitude, so I guess I can't be super surprised. I think it just depends on how much templatized stuff you're doing, I guess, and how bad your header fan out is. Okay, so yeah, we've got the current time. I need to compare the last echo time, or like at least the current time minus the echo frequency. Is that greater than or equal to last echo time? So has it been at least a second since the last echo? Well, or at least if it's been less than that. Yeah, if it's been less than that, I'll just return because not enough time has passed yet. Jesus. Okay. Otherwise, I can go ahead and I can grab an echo position. Meaning I'll just do lander position. Oopsies. Lander position. Lander position is already a point, and it's in world space, so that's good. And what we'll do is we will just push that onto the queue. I need to maintain that the queue is only like 3 items in size. What I can actually do, I want that to be configurable too, to be honest. So I'm gonna do static const int max echoes, and then here I'll just do let's start it with 3. So what we'll do is if echoes dot size is equal to max echoes, we'll pop. So echoes dot pop back. Boom. And that'll just make space for the next echo that we're gonna add. And then here we'll just do echoes push back, push front. Add it to the front of that queue. How'd you hear about that language, Corbin, by the way? Because I haven't seen that anywhere. Is that like, how new is that? You know, is it a few months or what? Because I'm usually pretty on top of things. Because I saw there was one. There was like an NVIDIA language or something that, like some language that someone was building that like runs specifically on the GPU and it does like a lot of parallelism. I saw that. That was a few months ago, which was really cool. But I don't think I haven't seen Jai. He started 4 years ago, so he's really scared of publishing something that's not ready, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I get that, because it's one of those things where it's like you make a big claim, right? And then if it doesn't live up to the hype as soon as it comes out, people are going to abandon it, and, you know, first impressions and all that. So, I get that. But there's also, like, the other effect where, like, you hold something behind curtains for a while, and then people build up more and more expectation. and then like by the time it comes out, their expectations are like through the roof. Whereas like if you had just kind of made it public from the beginning, people could have kind of just been working along with it as it's been getting developed. So double-edged sword, I guess. Okay, so we'll pop, if we hit max echoes, we'll always add the newest echo in there. That's good. And then also generation, or actually plus generation, just so that we don't assign for no reason. We don't actually need to do anything for that overflow. Like, I don't care if it overflows. If it overflows, okay. We're just using it as a way of tracking change here. So the actual generation number doesn't mean shit. Okay, I think for actually tracking echoes, this should be good. Like, this should give us the information that we need. Now for the lander UI model, when I synchronize the lander UI model, oh, actually what I need to do is initialize this on the lander. Where do I want to do that? I guess I'll just do that here. This is as good a spot as any. Echo tracker, inertial echo tracker, make unique. Inertial echo tracker, and it just takes in the pointer to the lander. Okay. Oh, and then I need to actually import. Can I get some type help here? I just wanted to. All right. Since I'm storing that actually needs to get pulled in on the lander's HPP. So we'll do I? Well, it's a unique pointer actually, so I can forward declare that. I don't have to actually pull it in. So I just do class inertial echo tracker, boom. Satisfy that, right? Inertial echo. Oh, did I misspell it? Yeah, I misspelled it. Okay, so we've got the inertial echo tracker loaded in. What don't you like? Did I misspell it twice in 2 spots? Inertial echo tracker. Oh, interial. Okay, I misspelled it up here. That's where I misspelled it. Interial. Inertial. That's how you spell inertia. Okay. Cool. We're good there. And then in the C++ file, we'll go and actually import it. Look at all this imports, all these imports. Okay. And then we'll include it here. Game entities, lambda, inertial echo tracker. Cool. And that should be. What don't you like about this? That I misspelled it. I really want to call this intertial. Intertial echo tracker. Okay. All right, that's good. Now, lander UI model. We already have the inertial echo generation stored on here. I'm thinking, so the UI will get the lander UI model, right? Like whatever bit of UI we actually build to render these onto the screen, we'll get the lander UI model. Problem is, it needs access to the lander to then get the echo tracker to then get the echoes, right? We have this inertial echo generation thing, which is going to actually track, like, okay, did this thing update? But I don't want to have to pass in a reference to the lander in the place where we. Is that bad? I mean, I have references to the lander in other places. The lander is always going to exist in the game. Like, that's like a. If the lander doesn't exist, the game's not in a valid state. So it's pretty safe to assume we'll always have a lander. I'm just trying to keep this as light as possible. I don't want to like have stuff copy and pasted or like, you know, copying, using up more memory than I need to or anything like that. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll store the inertial echo generation on here as a signal, and then whatever wants to actually go and react to the inertial echoes will just go and subscribe to the inertial echo generation. We can change this later if we need to, but this is good for now. So inertial echo generation, lander, we're going to want to get the inertial echo tracker, and then generation, get generation. Yeah, get generation. Okay, that doesn't have a get generation, obviously, so we'll go and add one. So here, inertial echo tracker, get generation, just return generation. Cool. All right. Good to go there. And then now here, this should work. No member named get generation. There's definitely get generation. Oh, it's a unique pointer. Yeah, that's why. Lander, inertial echo tracker, get generation. Why don't you like this? Member access is incomplete. I see. Okay, I don't mind importing it here. Yeah. I'll import that in here. That should give me access. This is like a CPP file, so that's good. Use of underclock. What? Did I misspell inertial echo generation in the Lander UI model? Lander UI models, HPP, intertial. Dude, I really want to call this intertial. I might just like leave that in there as like a Easter egg for myself, because Jesus, I can't type. Okay. Alright, so we're tracking the generation. And then now we can actually go and make the UI component for this. So we have in the UI, in the Lander UI, we'll have a inertial echo tracker, inertial echo display, overlay, inertial echo overlay. I think that's a good name. Okay, now I'm just gonna base this off of how I've done my other components. I can do it nice and cleanly. Singularity, forward declare the UI element, and then namespace game, inertial echo, not tracker, inertial echo overlay is going to be a, I don't think I want this to be a singleton. Let me think through this. If I make this a singleton, like do I gain anything from making this a singleton here? Because I have, let's see, document viewer, that's just a HUD component that has its render. What about system status monitor? Yeah. It mounts. I don't think it needs to be, it doesn't need to be a singleton. So I'm just change that, boom, just keep it like a bare class for now. Static mount, because we're gonna want to be able to mount this class, or like mount the UI elements for the class. Yeah, and then once they're mounted, we don't need a render because the UI elements themselves will keep handle the rendering. Does that make sense? I can have a parent UI element with children UI elements, each child UI element will represent one of the actual like little tracker blips, and those will be tied to the UI tracker, and then we can have all of them exist at the same time and then just pool them. So like, yeah. So like the first child is always going to be the first element in the actual inertial echo tracker. I think that's pretty clean. Yeah. Okay. So we'll mount. It'll take in a shared pointer to the mount point, just like how this other element does. Singularity UI element mount point. Okay. Yeah. Oh. I didn't give it a... Yeah, this doesn't need to return anything. I was trying to think, do I need to return like a reference to the UI element that I'm going to create here, but I don't think I need to. Okay, so that'll actually be pretty simple. I think it's going to be a relatively simple component. Inertial echo overlay, CPP. And then we'll include inertial echo overlay, and then void inertial echo overlay, void game inertial echo overlay. No, not tracker. Jesus. Why is that giving me type hints there? Even though I imported it. Import that UI element from a mount point. Okay. Put this on its own line so we can actually read it. Okay. Makes sense. Now, why don't you like this? Oh my god, inertial. Inertial. I need to like open up a Word document and just type inertial 50,000 times until I get this. This is ridiculous. Okay. I'm gonna move this over to here. Oopsies. Inertial echo overlay, CPP, I want that on the left. And then on the right hand side, what I'll open up is the lander style sheet. This is gonna mount onto the parent, like the root element of the UI. So that should be fine. What else? I'm just trying to think like what are the actual classes that I need. I need like a container class, which just takes up the full width. And then I need the actual blip class, and that blip can be the different... maybe I'll have a sprite for it or something. Do I need a container class? The blips can just be kind of self-managing. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll have the blips be self-managing. So I'll just do a declare class here. This is how I actually like define my classes in my style sheet. What should I call this? Inertial echo blip. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll just add a style declaration here. Inertial echo blip. Cool. Now we're ready to go. Not gonna give it... Ooh. So the X and the Y position are gonna be calculated based off of the lander based off the lander position. Or like the lander, I need to get the lander to then get the echo tracker to then get the day queue that's holding the echo positions. I think maybe that would have been a good reason to. No, I was gonna say that might have been a good reason to actually store, to make the inertial echo overlay a singleton, but I have a pretty good way of getting the lander entity like on request when I need it. And since these are only going to be updated like once a second, I think we'll be fine. So I'll just do that. So, okay. Inertial echo blip, we're not going to have anything in there yet, but what we'll do is in the inertial echo tracker, we had the max echoes. And what I think I'll do is I don't want them to be private, because if they're private, I won't have access to them. And I don't want to friend class this, because that's kind of gross. And it's a static const. I think it's fine if I make it public. And then echo frequency is just internal. It doesn't matter. But what that allows me to do is when I mount this, what I can do is for int I equals 0, I is less than inertial echo, oopsies, inertial echo tracker max echoes increment I. Yeah, I need to actually import this. There you go. So I'll just go, I'll immediately just mount 3 or however many echo elements into the page. So then what I'll do is Singularity, or actually what I'll do, it's mount point, add child. And then I need to look up a reference. It's been a little while since I've added new UI. I've been doing so much time updating old UI, but I haven't really worked on new UI stuff. Okay, add child just takes in. Let's see. Add child takes in element props. Okay, that makes sense. And then so we'll do element props, style, using styles. Yeah, that's what I want. Except I don't want it to be main menu. I want it to be lander style sheet. Yeah. So styles dot, or not dot. It's gonna be inertial echo blip. There we go. Okay. Cool. Mount point add child. Oh, and then I also have to give it the ID. Inertial echo blip with the number. I think with I is fine. Convert that to a string, sure. Int to string. Is that not? Oh, is it toString? String? There you go. Okay, so that'll just go ahead and add the actual echo to the page. Then in the lander UI behavior, what we can do is just add it in there. I don't think I need a reference to any of these. Like, I don't need a reference to any of the things that I'm adding. So what I can do is inertial echo overlay mount, right? Now the mount doesn't return anything. That's fine. We don't need it to. And then main game panel interior is going to be where it's getting added to. Boom. Cool. Felix Perez says you're actually coding without AI. I use AI sometimes. It's good for like if you use it kind of like a Google, or like how you used to use Stack Overflow back in the day, back in my day, you know. Now I can say that. Isn't that crazy? Like I never thought I'd be able to say that. Now I can say back in my day, we used to look up answers, look up questions and errors on Google and pray to God that somebody made a Stack Overflow post with your same issue or something similar. And back in my day, sometimes we had to go on the second page of Google. Do you know what goes on the second page of Google? You don't want to know what goes on the second page of Google, okay? Oh man, Stack Overflow. You know, it's sad. I know Stack Overflow was like super toxic, and a lot of people hated it, but it's a wealth of knowledge, and it makes me sad to see that like it's dying, you know. Do you remember reading Java API docs because there was no other way to find your answer? Oh, dude. Or like, what was it? There was a... What's that Java website that starts with like a B? Like Baildung or something like that? Man, it's been a while since I've written any Java, but we used to actually have to read through API docs to find stuff. Like most of this game, like I have not had to refer to SDL docs at all. Like whenever I'm interfacing with anything SDL related, I can just ask the godly LLM and it does all like the finding for me, and I just use the APIs that exist, that it tells me that exist. But every once in a while it'll tell me to, you know, that some API exists that doesn't, or that some interface exists that doesn't, or it'll point me down like the old way of doing it from like 30 years ago or something like that. And then I have to resort back to going through the documentation and seeing what the actual, you know, code is doing. Yeah, there's no replacement for knowing how to code and knowing how to read code, you know. As good as AI gets, I think we'll always want to have some understanding, you know. Okay, we mount the inertial echo overlay. Cool. And then once it's mounted, since it's in the UI tree, that's it. Nothing else to do. But what we do need to do is like actually make it do something, because right now the inertial echo container, like the inertial echo, the inertial echo overlay will add the elements, but they won't do anything. So let's see, inertial echo overlay. Now I'm trying to think how I want to actually display these. Honestly, I feel like most of the work I can do in the actual style. So like, let's say width, just we'll start with a simple width here for now, and we'll do singularity, unit, pixels. To make it obvious, I'll make it 10 pixels wide. We'll just start with squares. We'll have the same height. It's supposed to be a lowercase p. Okay. I'll need the X position. Now the X position, it's going to depend on which ID this is going to be. So what I think I want to do when I mount this is, I think I want to actually pass in some metadata to the component that's being created. Just passing in the I think is enough. The member name metadata. Do I not have access to that in element props? UI element HPP, element props. Yeah, it takes in a metadata. Why don't you like that? Oh, whoopsies. Missing comma. Okay. Do you work on Descent Horizon a lot off stream or mainly on stream? I work on it a lot off stream. I try to do, I don't know, like on average at least 3 hours a day. Just because there's so much to do that if I only did it on stream, I think this would probably take me like 10 years. And I only stream like once a week, you know? That being said, I've been considering maybe bumping up the number of streams to like 2 per week or something like that. Like maybe like at a Tuesday stream or something. Because I enjoy it. It's chill talking to you guys. But we'll see. But yeah, a lot of time off stream is spent on here. I do a lot of the boring stuff, like the UI rewrite and stuff. I've been working through for like 2 months now. Okay, so X is gonna be, it's gonna be calculated because that'll change. Okay. X position, and then same thing for Y. It's gonna be a calculated. Singularity, unit, calculated. Cool. L. Yeah, no, this is terrible. I don't need all this crap. I'm like looking at this, I'm like, what the hell? That auto insertion just added way more crap than I needed there. Okay. Cool. This is supposed to be Singularity UI element, you see? Auto insertion, not even once. Okay, Singularity UI element, there we go. Okay. So that's gonna take in itself. The only reason I need to do that is so I can get metadata off of it. Let me just double check what my UI element looks like again. I think I have a get metadata, right? Get metadata, yeah. Get metadata. That's gonna be an any. I know in this case that it's gonna be int, so it's like any cast, right? Any cast int. That's gonna be the echo index, like which echo does this UI element represent, right? Am I doing something crazy here? Expected. Am I missing? Oh, Jesus. Okay. Why did that auto insertion really fucked me? Okay. Cool. And then, yeah, now it's just complaining because it's not actually returning anything. Typical. All right. So what we'll do is first what I'll do is I'll do lander UI model. I think I'm doing this somewhere else. I'll just copy it over. I don't want to remember how I wrote that. Lander UI model. There we go. Okay. So I need the lander UI model, right? I can get that from my model bridge. This looks terrible, like the formatting. It's because like I put up my font size so much for the stream so that you guys can see it, and it's probably still not even big enough. I mean, you guys let me know if you need the text bigger. I'll pop it up a bit. But like this is 6 points bigger than I normally code at. And so I normally have a lot more horizontal screen space. And obviously that starts to wrap when you put up the font size so much. Okay, so we get the lander UI model, we get the echo index. What I want to do is immediately lander UI model what was it called? It was inertial echo generation, and I'm gonna just watch it. Like, that's its sole purpose of existing, is to be watched. Sounds kind of creepy, right? Yeah. Inertial echo generation. And then what I'll do is I need to actually get the lander. Lander. I think it's entity manager from Singularity, and I can get an entity by. How do I get an entity again? Entity manager. I have a get first entity by type. I think that's what I want. Get first entity by type. Lander? Yeah. I think that's... Let me just search elsewhere in the code base. Get first entity by type. Yeah. Dot value. Okay. Because I know it's going to be there. That's why. It returns an optional, but in this case I know it's going to be there, so I can just call dot value on it. Now I don't have lander imported or entity manager for that regard. Let me import entity manager. That's good. Okay. So now here we have a reference to the lander. Then I can do lander inertial echo tracker. Get echoes, which does not exist. I could add a convenience method on there. Inertial echo tracker. I could add a convenience method on here to be able to get a specific echo by index. I think that's probably what I'll do. And really all these echoes are is a point. Yeah. Yes. Get echo. Taking an index. Cool. DJ Kunivak. Oh, hey, DJ. How's it going, man? Used to be called helper methods. Yes. Used to be called helpers. We call them getters now, all right? Get with the times. Okay. We'll get the echo. Oh, man. It's good to see you, DJ. How have you been, man? Get echo. Yeah, let's just get a single echo. Get echo. I'll pass in the echo index that I've got here. What don't you like about this? Remember get echo. Oh, right. It's a pointer. It's a pointer. Still an error. Member access. Oh, into incomplete type. That makes sense. I don't have inertial echo tracker imported here. There you go. That fixed it. No viable conversion. Oh, it's just because I'm not returning what I need to return here. I'll get that in a second. Okay. The other thing I need here is I need a reference to the camera, because these are getting drawn in screen space, right? But I need to use the camera to transform the screen space to world space. Or vice versa, actually. I have the world space of the echo. I need to transform it into screen space so that I know where to put it. Where's the blockchain code? There is no blockchain code in this project. This is all just game. Just game. DJ was my CTO at the company I used to work at, or at least the company that was acquired by the company that I'm at now. And when I was hired, one of the last things that I was working on before was this blockchain project I was building in Elixir. It was a pretty fun project to work on. Yeah. Okay. I'm messing with you, buddy. I know, man. It's good to see you, dude. It's really good to see you, man. Inertial echo tracker. Okay. We've got the echo. And then that'll just be the actual point. So echo world position. There we go. Can you believe that was 7 years ago? Dude, man. I can't. Honestly, time passes by so quickly. 7 years. That makes me uncomfortable. Like, time passing so quickly, I don't like it. I talk to my wife about that all the time. Like, you blink your eye and it's been like 5 years and you're like, wow. And it just passes faster and faster. I don't like it. I don't like getting old, man. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Okay, echo. So we have the world position. I need to get the camera. I can just get the camera straight from the render pipeline. Do I have a camera UI model? Because I'll definitely need that. Yeah, I do. I have a camera UI model with the position and all that. Yeah, okay. Because I'll need to track... I need to subscribe at least to the changes in the camera's position, so that as the camera moves, these inertial echo positions, they get updated as well. Just kind of copy this. Camera UI model. Learn to draw. Okay. I'm not great at drawing. You're right. But I do try. Are you an artist? #1 meower? Camera UI model. Camera UI model. Okay, so I've got the camera UI model in here, and then what I can do is, honestly, I just need to watch. Let me grab this, move this up here, and then I'll just watch both. So I'll do camera UI model, position. Yeah, I'll just watch position X. Doesn't really matter what I'm watching. Old man River Tears going to bed. I'll catch you on the next one, buddy. This is awesome. So happy for you. Thanks, man. You have a good night. It was good catching up with you. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay. Camera UI model. Now we're watching the camera position. So if it changes, we'll rerun this X position calculation. Then we just need to Singularity render pipeline. Oops, not renderable. Render pipeline. Get the camera off the render pipeline. Why aren't you giving me any? No. How is there no render pipeline? Let me see. Is that not included? Singularity. Okay, I'll just include it. Singularity, render pipeline. There you go. Okay. Get camera. I swear there's a get camera on there. Get camera. There you go. Okay. And that will just return a reference to the camera. Cool. So, I don't need, yeah, I only need to use it once. So, world to screen, and I can pass in the echo world position. And then that should give me the echo screen position. That gives it to me as an SDL3 point. Okay. I think, let me see, because I'm pretty sure I have another spot in here where I call world to screen. Because SDL has its coordinate system upside down. And I need to flip it. World to screen. Need to flip it in order to get it visible the way that I want it to be. Yeah. Singularity point from SDL. Yeah. Because this will, like, the SDL will be flipped, and then this will just flip it back for me. Okay. And then, yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, because that was a lot just for getting the world position. Robert says, I can't even begin to imagine how you keep this physics code in your head. Yeah, well, dude, there was a portion of time where my entire game, when I was switching from SDL render pipeline to using OpenGL, I really wanted all my code to be Y up instead of Y down, because it's really annoying to think of like Y increasing being further down, which is what SDL does. So since I really wanted to do that, I all my points and all that stuff is in Y up coordinate space, and then I just convert it from SDL F points if I need to. But when I was switching over to OpenGL, like, because of that, my entire camera, everything flipped upside down, and I spent like 4 or 5 hours manually going through all the code and finding all the places where I needed to flip things and just redoing it, and it was a nightmare. It's really tricky, honestly. Like, I'm not like super math heavy. Like, I was never the mathlete or anything like that. So like it was tripping me up, like flipping something upside down just to flip it back, just to transform it. It's a lot. You're a wizard, Harry? I'm not a wizard. I'm just willing to bash my head against something for a long time until I get it working. I have a thick skull, I'll say that. Okay. So we have the screen entity position. I guarantee you I'm gonna run this and nothing's gonna look correctly. But we have a screen entity position. So like theoretically, here all we need to do is return screen entity position X, and that should be the X position. Now make a rope simulation so you can pick things up like a crane game. I want to. I want to. That's a strong statement. I want the novelty of implementing that. Like, that sounds fun to implement. It sounds like a nightmare to actually maintain. There's a portion of the game, like part of the story portion, where I want I want you to pick something up using the lander and transport it. And oh, kitty. That's Totoro, my kitty. I have 2 kitties. She loves going on my desk. Yeah, anyway, there was a portion where I wanted you to be able to pick something up with a lander and carry it. And at the time when I was thinking through how to do it, I was trying to decide, okay, do I want to just, like, strap this to the lander directly? Or, like, actually make game physics, you know? Or, like, the rope physics. And for now, to keep things simple for myself, I'm just, at least the way that I'm planning on doing is I'm just going to keep it strapped to the lander, because simulating that rope physics is not going to be fun. But who knows? Maybe I'll do that for like the MVP, and then eventually, if I have some time, you know, and I want to punish myself, maybe I'll do it. I have to see how bad it is, like how complicated it actually is to implement. It's in the game. He said he wants to. Oh god, you're gonna hold it against me now? Rope physics when? Vertlet integration. I think was that you, Robert, that you mentioned rope physics last time? You hopped in the stream. Your name looks familiar. Yeah. Okay. Now, I don't want to redo all this work for the Y position. Because we already did all the work here. So I gotta think. Because, like, in theory, I could just set the Y here. Maybe. Position X. Yeah, that was me. Sorry, bro. They call me the scope creep. The scope creep? That sounds... That's like a Like the ultimate villain name, the scope creep. You gotta, you gotta make an account with that somewhere and just like start going on indie game like pages and just suggesting like massive features for them to add. I think that'd be like a really funny meme account. But how's that going? I remember you said that you were having trouble or you were working through some like vertlet integration stuff for your rope physics for your game. Did you end up getting that figured out? So, okay. X, it's calculated. What I could do, can I do that? I know there's somewhere in the game where I effectively calculate this once, and it's a very similar situation where I need like an X and Y, and I don't want to do the work twice. Now I want to see if I have that anywhere. What was that? What was that part of the code? I think I left a comment where I was like, calculate multiple. What? Where was it? Was it like, was it my hazard tracker? I swear it was. Maybe it might have been the hazard tracker. Let me check the hazard tracker. Entity UI model. What if I just search wasteful? Did I feel like that's a word I would have used. No, I guess I didn't. I added rats to my game. I haven't touched the rope in a second. I'm only on week 4, so I just mute them. I just subscribed. Oh, thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate that. I don't know why. I don't get like I set it up so that I should get notifications for subs, and I don't know if it's just the application that I'm using. It doesn't pop them up. I think for Twitch follows it does, but for subs it hasn't. At least I haven't noticed it working. I wasn't sure if anybody had subscribed during a stream, and I missed it, or if I just hadn't had any subs pop up. But I guess that confirms it. I guess it's not showing. I'm gonna have to take a look at it and see. Added rats to your game. What is your game about? I'm curious. You can see the rats. I'm very curious what game you're working on here. What are you building? Hazard tracker. It's not hazard tracker. Scanner overlay. Is that where I did it? There was somewhere. I need to find. No. Because I know I did this somewhere where I calculated the like one axis and then I set it. I just want to like basically copy what I did there. Or did I change that? Maybe I changed it. Maybe I had it that way and then I was just like, well, I guess I'll... It would have been like dot y equals, I don't know, that's like very generic. Wider edit. No, it's none of these. I mean, this is not \y. Okay. So many results. Okay. I think for now I'll literally just copy and paste this, and then when I have some time I'll go and figure out how I can keep it simple, because obviously I don't want to do all this work twice just for this 2 separate axes when I'm literally I have access to both of them in that one calc. It's just based off the way that the like reactive computations work. I don't remember right now off the top of my head how easily I can just set the y from set another property from one property, you know. It's a backroom survival game. I think the player is going to have to catch rats for food if they can't find a vending machine, or maybe they just like chasing rats. That's okay too. Okay, that sounds cool. Backroom survival. I saw I want to go see the Backrooms movie with my wife. We were seeing the trailer for it. It looks pretty good. I played. There was like a year ago, or maybe it's weird. It's like it was an early access or something. There was like a Backrooms game that came out on Steam. Played that with my brother. It was pretty cool, but I don't think it was done. I don't think there were like I don't think we've played through all the levels or anything like that. I won't spoil the movie. Oh, you already saw it? How was it? Did you like it? Don't spoil the plot, but did you enjoy it? Okay, so that'll give us those, and then for now I'll just do a background color, and we'll do like a bright red or something, so I can see it. 255, 0, 0, 255, boom. All right, it was good. Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's good. I'm glad that it was good. Okay, I'm gonna try to run this build. Hopefully, everything doesn't just grind to a halt here. Okay. Okay. So, for anybody who's just hopping in while we build, I want to show what we're working on right now. Effectively, what we have is in the game there's like the main screen where you're controlling the lander, and then there's the like flight HUD around it, right? And as you're flying the lander, if you're high up enough, you can't really see what the like how fast you're going visually. Like you can see the stars behind you and they move left and right or whatever. Oh, kitty. Hey, Totoro. The stars move in the background, right? So you can see like, okay, if the stars are moving to the left, I'm moving to the right kind of thing, or like the stars are moving up, so I'm falling down. And like you can kind of use that to determine the relative speed of the lander. But it's not super like intuitive, and it's not like, it's more of just like a feeling, right? So what I want is an actual like UI feature where we can go and like show on the screen like, hey, you know, your relative speed is pretty high. And so like there is on the like flight HUD, it does show you, okay, like you're moving like left or right 10 meters per second, you're moving up or down -5 meters per second, right? So we have that. But like I don't want the game to necessarily be like, oh, I'm staring at like numbers go up. You know, I want it to feel like I can fly, I can look away from the numbers for a little bit and still get a feel for what's going on. So what I want to do effectively is I want to have like these lander echoes based off of the positional data of the lander. So like as you're flying, we'll show little blips on the screen that show your flight path. So like let's say every 1 second, it'll grab the position of the lander and show it on the screen, and then it'll show it as basically like an echo, like, okay, this is where you were a second ago, this is where you were 2 seconds ago, this is where you were 3 seconds ago. So as you're moving, you can see, okay, the blips are to my left, so I'm moving to the left or to the right or up or down or whatever, right? And then on top of that, the blips change color depending on your total velocity. So if I'm moving really fast, maybe the blips are going to be red, right? Versus if I'm moving like at a steady, like nice speed, they'll be green, so that I know, okay, like by looking at my blips or just seeing the blips out of the corner of my eye while I'm focusing on the actual lander as I'm flying, I can have a feeling of how quickly I'm moving, and I don't have to necessarily stare at numbers, you know? So it's an experiment. I don't know if this is gonna like work very well, or if it's gonna look good, or if it's even gonna like, if it's gonna work out the way that I see it in my head. But that's the problem I'm trying to solve. I want the player to feel like they don't have to stare at numbers to play the game. You know what I mean? So yeah. Nathaniel, hey Nathaniel, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Nathaniel says, I tried to make a video game in C++ using Cocos 2D. However, the folder was deleted and the code won't compile. Oh, dude. That really sucks, man. I'm sorry. Now, I mean, you've been burned, and the best time to learn is when you get burned. But for the future, I would highly recommend using Git or some sort of version control system for your projects, because that way, if something does get deleted or disappears, you don't actually lose it permanently. It's kind of like in the cloud, you know. Um, hopefully, that really sucks, man. I can't imagine. That's a terrible feeling to lose all that work, I'm sure. But you said it won't, and the code won't compile. The folder was deleted. So, did you lose all the code, or did you just lose like a portion of what you needed? Like, did you just lose some like Cocos 2D internals or something like that? Also, guys, let me know if my stream's getting super choppy because this compilation right now is choking out my laptop. So I'm getting some jitter here. Hopefully it's not getting too jittery for you guys. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what we're building. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys, like, what are your predictions? Do you think it's going to feel good, or do you feel like it's going to feel gimmicky? Do you think it's going to get in the way? Like, as a player, right? What do you guys think of that system? Or am I describing it poorly? Like, do you guys understand what I'm trying to build here? Robert says, that just means V2 is going to be even better. Yeah, there you go. That's a positive outlook. V2 is going to be even better. I'm hoping that you didn't lose your code, dude. And you got everything there. And hopefully if it's just like a Cocos 2D file or something, or like a directory, then you can probably just find it online or like regenerate it if it's like a generated a generated folder or something like that. Hopefully you have options. I guess that's what I'll say. These compiles, man, they really keep you waiting. They keep you in, what's the word? In suspense. That's what they do. Oh, man. It's also entirely possible that this is going to blow up. I'm going to get a bunch of errors. I've been trying to fix things as they come up. So hopefully we won't get a bunch of problems, but who knows? Anything could happen. Anything is possible with Popsicle, right? Okay. I'm not considering the width in the X and Y position. I need to take into account the width of the actual element so that I center it. Right now, these are going to be placed like bottom left corner on the X and Y position, which is fine. It's probably not going to be super noticeable, but something I'll need to keep in mind. Hopefully, I think it's just going to be this first build that's super slow, and then after that, it'll be faster because I won't have as many changes to header files. It'll just be like CPP stuff that I can change. But yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. This week I got the Steam page finally approved on Steam by Valve. So it's pretty rough. It's a rough looking Steam page because the game is still in a very rough state. But a lot of people were asking like where they can find the game. I figure I'd rather have somewhere to send people. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's on Steam. Let me ask Nightbot to help us out here. The command Steam. Oh, do I want to enable dictation? I definitely don't want to enable dictation. Oh man, this build is killing me. I really need to figure something out with these because they're normally not bad, but when I have like this OBS open and like dual streaming to YouTube and Twitch at the same time, it uses a lot of CPU, I guess. And it slows things down. But I got the webcam open, I've got a bunch of things running. Let's see. Activity monitor. Yeah, my CPU load is insane right now. It's like peaked. Honestly, like I need a newer laptop because like what happens honestly is I get thermal throttled by kernel task. Like it's not even the thing that's using the most CPU on my machine right now is kernel task, you know. It's painful. This was happening to my old MacBook too. Like after a while, after you have it for a few years, I don't know if everybody else's experience, but my experience with it has been, after I have it for a few years, it'll start thermal throttling out the ass. Maybe I just need to go and like clean out my fans really well or something. But this is kind of ridiculous. Let me go look through Jai again. That was pretty cool. Jai Primer MD. Jai is created by John Blow. I, the person who made this game, this guide, am not John Blow. Okay. Jai is a high-level programming language developed by Jonathan Blow, creator of indie games Braid and mostly like The Witness. It is a static, strongly typed C-style language. Okay. With a variety of modern languages that C lacks. Okay. Arbitrary compile time code execution. Any function of the program can be made to run at compile time with run. Oh, that's really cool. I like that a lot, actually. I've literally had like times with this project with Singularity and Descent Horizon where I needed compile time code to run, and then I end up having to resort to like bash scripts. I much rather would have just done it in C++. And I know I can like compile stuff into its own program and all that, but like I want it to just be part of the project, you know? So that's interesting though. Integrated build process. The build process and parameters are specified by the source code itself. That's nice too, yeah. C++'s like CMake and all that are not fun to play with. I really don't like CMake, like C++'s like build ecosystem and like the just like the package ecosystem in general for C++ really sucks. Like certain packages just take so much work to set up. Like not for this project, but there was a project that I was working on before this. It was a programming language that I was working on, and I think I spent like 3 days literally just trying to get a single like dependency imported into my code base and like working correctly, which is, to me, that's ridiculous. I feel like I get why obviously everything is like depending on your system and all that, you know, depending on your architecture, but it can be really painful sometimes. And this build is taking so long. I feel like I didn't even change like that much code, man. Like I touched a few header files and that was it. I mostly created new header files. I added some stuff to the lander HTTP file. I don't feel like it should be this slow. This compilation, at least. But alas, here we are. Here we are. Jeez. Man, this compilation time is like killing the momentum so hard. It's painful. This is painful to watch. It's like watching paint dry. Tell me some jokes, chat. Help me not kill myself here while I stare at this and wait for the build to finish. Is anybody else working on a game here? In chat? I know, yeah, Robert's working on a game. But anybody else doing anything cool? Let me see. I guess while I wait for this to build, I can go through like list of things that I still have to build for the game. My game save. Yeah. UI element. This is what I'm working on now. This dependency tracking stuff. Off stream is what I've been working on. It's like going on like a few months now. It's almost done though. I just have a few more UI properties to update, and then my UI will be fully reactive. It'll be really nice. And then the lunar terrain tile set. Oh man, that's all like the the tile set for how the lunar terrain looks, but like it's actually surprisingly complex because like I have the terrain can be like any random angles, right? Or not random. Like the terrain is like a series of line segments. And each line segment, I've constrained it so that it can only be in 10-degree increments. So like a 10-degree, 20-degree line, whatever, 30. I'm sorry if you guys hear my cats. Because basically, like, in order to actually have textures effectively for the terrain, I needed to be able to keep the like art. What's the word? The art, requirement, the level of amount of art that I need to create to a reasonable level, because like imagine like if you have a tile set and you need to place a tile to represent like a 10-degree slope, right? You can't just use one tile. Right, you might want a few different tiles, and so let's say you choose you say like, okay, for every possible degree for every possible slope I'm gonna have like 3 variations of a tile, just to have some variation, because otherwise if you have like a few 10-degree tiles next to each other, they're just gonna look like the same thing, copy and pasted, right? So if you even just do 3 variations, you're already looking at like, well, if you support 1-degree inclinations, then that's 360 tiles that you have to make for every like possible inclination that the terrain could have, right? Now if you want to do 3 variations, now that's what, oh sorry, one sec guys, my cats are going crazy. 1 second here. Okay, I am back. My cats were like fighting each other to the death. Anyway, what I was saying is like if I was gonna make one tile for every 1-degree inclination of terrain, I would have 360 tiles, right? And if I want 3 tiles of variation for every possible inclination, then that's 360 times 3. So what is that? That's 720. Is that 1080? I can't do math. Let me see. 360 times 3. Oh, 1080. Yeah, I guess I'm not as bad at math as I thought. That's 1,080 possible tiles, right? Which is ridiculous to have to draw out and to even like store and import, you know? So what I ended up doing is I basically just said, okay, my terrain can just be in 10-degree inclinations. And then that way I only have to have 36 possible tiles per inclination. And then if I have 3 variations each, then that becomes 108. Or, yeah, 108, which is not as bad. And then, you know, with some filler tiles and all that. But even with that 108 possible tiles, man, it's been a lot. I think I have like, I want to say like I'm 70% of the way done with the tile map. The tile set at least. But it's been a lot. It's been a lot of work. And this build is still building. It's still going, man. Look at this. Still running. I must have done something super good. My code is so good that the compiler is like looking at it and just saying, "Wow, this is beautiful," and I just want to stay looking at this for as long as I can. That's got to be what's going on. My CPU percentage is like maxed out right now. Kernel task, man. I don't know if there's anything I can do to improve the airflow of my laptop, because this is really bad. Bear with me here. This is like world's longest build.com. I want to see, like, I don't think it even, I can see when I started building it actually. Let me see, because this has been super slow. At what time did I start this build? Nah, that didn't start at 10:41. I think I just didn't type anything after that. Damn. I wish I had gotten more recent like time output there, so I would know how long this has actually been building, because this is really slow. This is really painful. This is the come watch Alex watch a build live stream. Hope everybody's enjoying it. I don't know why this is taking so long to build. I didn't change like that much, honestly. Let me see. Let me see. What did I even change? What did I even change? Actually, let me just see the files that changed. Even my get status is taking a long time. Yikes, man. Please, please just go. Just run. I'm looking at my activity monitor. I'm hoping here that this is gonna start wrapping up soon, because it's like looks like maybe my CPU usage is starting to go down a bit, but kernel task is killing me here. Goddamn thermal throttling. I wish like the build taking a long time is one thing. Like it is what it is, right? Like if it takes a while, I just wish it wouldn't lock up my whole system at the same time, you know? Like I still want to be able to do other stuff. I want to be able to do a get status. Why can't I do a get status, man? This is killing me. Feel like it's gotta be close. Come on, just finish building, please. It's like, it's not even like hot in here either. Like, I have the AC running, it's like running on 62 degrees and everything. It's like, it is not hot in here for me to be getting thermal throttled by kernel task, man. Let me see, is there anything I can do? Kernel task, thermal throttling. Is there anything that I'm running that I don't need to be running right now? I have like nothing running, honestly. I just have my terminal, or you know, iTerm. I have a browser window and I have OBS. That's basically it. This is really killing me. I'm like, do I just kill the build at this point? Do I just... What do I get for killing the build at this point? Like, it needs to build. I need the build to see if my thing is working. Get status like ran for a second and then just decided to hide itself again. Please. Computer, compile this program for me. Oh my god, like... This sucks, dude. This really sucks. I might just have to like lower my CPU like concurrency. Because am I even using parallel builds? What is the default? What is the default number of threads that CMake uses? Yeah, I can pass in like parallel 2 and just use 2 cores. That might be better, honestly, because this is ridiculous. Does CMake even use multiple cores by default? No, it doesn't. Single threaded, so that's not even my problem. Yeah, I'm not even using multiple cores right now. Build. So on a single core, this is like, this is killing me. Type -J. What does -J do? CMake -J. Why can I not? What does -J do? Controls the parallel. Okay, so I have -J. That just uses maximum available cores. I'm gonna change it to J2, to be honest, because that was ridiculous with the how many? The full cores? That was too much. Is that gonna build from scratch though? Yeah. Looks like that is maybe? No, it's not. Okay, thank God. It's not gonna build from scratch. And it looks like my CPU usage is not as bad now. -J2. Let's see. We'll see how bad it gets. It's gonna be slower though. The build is gonna be a lot slower this way. But using all the cores is definitely not the right move. At least not for stream. I think when I need to have a build configuration for like when I stream. Because that legitimately killed the performance of the entire stream. Like I could barely broadcast. That was bad. Let's see if we can even just get this done. Get this build to finish on stream. Because I want to actually see... I want to see what we've been working on with you guys. Actually get the visual here so we can see these echoes that we've been trying to build. J2 is pretty slow though. It is pretty slow, but It seems to be stable with my CPU for now. I think this is the way to go, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe. Damn, I might I might bump it to a few more cores because this is still really slow. Like I have access to the system, but it's pretty slow. I'm gonna do, let's do J6. Let's see how J6 feels, because there's 8 cores on here. We'll try it with 6 cores. Try building with 6 cores. See what happens. Yeah, we got 8 total cores. I can use 6. I just need to keep track of my CPU load at the same time. Make sure that things aren't getting too slow. But we'll see. If I see kernel tasks start spiking again and going crazy, I'm probably gonna put it down to 4 cores or something. Because we need this to be fast enough to actually iterate without being, like, without breaking up my entire setup, you know? Might make sense to just get a better MacBook at some point. Like, how many CPU cores is it, like an M2 or an M? Are we at M3 now? M3 Max total CPU cores. Okay. Oh, there's the Pro. What am I on? Am I on? I have M1 Pro. Okay. M1 Pro Mac CPU cores. How many cores do I got? 8 to 10 cores. Let me just look at my system settings. Actually, my about this Mac. Does that tell me? Go to more info. It doesn't tell me how many cores it has. Interesting. I would expect. Okay. Yeah. Well, regardless, I think 6 cores seems good. 6 cores, I feel like I still have a decent, I'm still getting decent performance. Everything seems to run smoothly, so I think 6 cores is where it's at. Kernel task doesn't seem too upset with it either, so I think this is where we're gonna keep it for now. Okay. Now I do want to see though what I was checking before. What files did I even change? Because I wouldn't expect this. I wouldn't expect so much stuff to rebuild. I modified Lander HPP and Lander UI model HPP. Lander is used in a lot of places, granted, but it's not like, I don't know, maybe Lander is used in more places than I thought. But I still wouldn't expect the build to be so slow. And then Lander UI model is also used in a few places, but it's nothing crazy either. I don't know. I think maybe I have a bunch of fan out somewhere. Somewhere that I'm not expecting to. Let me see. Lander, oops. Lander CPP? No, Lander HPP. all I added was a new thing, and I forward declared initial echo tracker. Okay. Lander UI model. I import landing gear state. That was already happening. I include signal. Yeah. I guess what's probably more useful is to know where lander UI model is used. That's in the hazard tracker, but that's the CPP. It's used in lander UI behavior. Sticky, not sticky playhood. That's CPP. It's used in the scanner overlay. Okay. Warning annunciator. Yeah. Cheeseburger. Man, cheeseburger sounds good right now. Welcome to the chat, Matt. How you doing, man? Oh. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why me changing a lander header file caused such a long build. Gotta be honest here. Lander style sheet. Lander style sheet is used in a lot of places. I changed that header. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's not the fact that I changed lander HPP. Maybe it's the fact that I changed the style sheet. It's entirely possible. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do like a performance trace and see what's going on at some point. It looks like we are getting like a full rebuild of the entire engine and everything now. I guess because I changed my build flags, it invalidated my entire thing. So that's not great. But I guess it is what it is. Don't build your own engine, kids. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You spend so much time building. See, this is normally when I have a build like this, when it's like a long build, I'll just pop open my phone, do some browsing, read some stuff. It's the perfect time to slack off. I guess maybe what I can do now is I can start thinking about how I want the inertial echoes to look. Once they're actually on the screen, because I don't really want it to look like a lander, right? Because we have the lander. I don't want it to be like mistaken, but I do want the we got an error. Let's see what we got here. Symbols not found. Get echo. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I can work with that. Inertial echo tracker CPP. No. Let me check the header file. It's got to get echo in there. Did I not implement it? I thought I did. Oh, I guess I didn't. Okay. Okay, I'll add that here. Void game. Inertial echo tracker. Get echo. And then taking the index, we'll do we have the list of echoes dot I don't think I can get from a DQ. I don't think I can get by index. Let me just Google that real quick. index. I think I have to like iterate through them, and then I have to just pop it out or like take it out. Um, oh. Apparently, okay, I didn't know this. C++ DQ has a O1 lookup for elements. That's cool. Okay. So echoes IDX. Alright. Oh, whoops. I said, okay, that needs to be a point, singularity point. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Back to the build we go. Okay. So yeah, I need to start thinking about how I want the actual echo to look. Like an initial idea is I can make it look kind of like a star or something like that. Let's see here on Excalibur. I don't know, something like it could be like a plus, you know, something like that, and then like a box. Can I maybe like that? Yeah, maybe like a literally like a plus sign with like a box there, kind of like a target or something, showing like, hey, that's where you were before. That could look kind of nice. Maybe. Maybe. Just an initial idea. Because that'll look kind of like diegetic, or not diegetic, how like techie, I guess is the word I would describe it as. Looks like the build's almost done, which is nice. I could probably whip this up really quickly too in like a Aciprite or something. So once we get this actually loading and showing the squares, I think I'll pop into Aciprite and draw up a little sprite for it and try to position it. Yeah. Come on. The build's almost done, but it's hanging a little bit. It wants to keep us in suspense. It wants to continue to hold us so that we can continue to watch this paint dry. Making compile commands. Come on. Copy level editor resources. It should be fast. Oh. Well, I'm just glad I went and updated those settings for the build. Like it's slower for sure, but now for future streams we're not gonna have that issue anymore where my whole computer locks up. My whole computer locks up, and then I lose control of everything. But man, it's still slow though. Okay. I guess while that is doing its thing, maybe I'll just pop open Aciprite now, to be honest. Aciprite. Actually, I think I have to pop open Steam first. And then I'll be able to pop open Aciprite. Oh, there we go. Build finished. That's nice. Okay. Alright, let's see. Let's run the game. Boom. Okay. Oh, instant segfault. That might have been an existing segfault. I'm gonna give that another try and see if it's unrelated to what we just worked on, because it's entirely possible. Okay, one more time. Let's try one more time. It's possible we got 2 segfaults in a row from the existing segfault. If it fails this time, then I think that tells me everything I need to know. Yeah. All right. So we have a segfault. Okay. Is it from me trying to access the inertial echo tracker before it's ready? I pass in the inertial echo tracker. I pass in a reference to the lander. Oh, you know what? Actually, I have this update method, but then I never actually call. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. Oh, you know what? You know what it is? Get echo. It takes in an int, and then it just tries to access it. I need to do at idx. And then I'm pretty sure. What does at do if the element doesn't exist? Strict bounds. If you provide, it'll throw an exception. Okay, well, let me just check actually. If honestly, let me see. Let me add a total echoes so I can get the number of echoes. Yeah. And then what we'll do, total echoes can just return the number of echoes we have. Int game inertial echo tracker total echoes return echoes dot size. There. Out of what? Did I? Oh, I think I misspelled total echoes. No. Oh, I said it was gonna return a point. That's not what I meant. It's gonna return int. There we go. Okay. Now we can get the total echoes. Cool. And then when I am here in my X and Y, if the yeah. Honestly, what I could do is I can make this optional. So I'm gonna make this return a standard optional. And then I can just check if there's no optional, or like if it's empty, then I just exit out early instead of checking total echoes, you know. If echoes dot size. So if the index is, let's say, 5, I have 6 echoes. So size minus 1. Yeah, so if you pass in index 5, and we have 5 items, then that goes up to index 4. So size, wait, no. Jeez, I'm confusing myself. Okay, it's late. All right. If the index, if I have 3 echoes, and you pass in index 3, that's wrong. You can't do that. So if echoes.size is less than or less than or equal to index, return a null opt. So we don't have it, right? So I have 3 echoes. You pass in index 3, 3 less than or equal to 3. Cool, null opt. Otherwise, return that. And then I don't need a total echoes. I can just get rid of that. Cool. And then remove that. Okay. Now here, when I get the echo world position, it's going to be an optional. Okay. Yeah, and then if not echo world position, just return. Yeah. Otherwise, we do have it. Do I get the value? Yeah, value. Turn 0. Yeah. Honestly, here's what I'll do. Because I always need this to return something. This has got to resolve to something. So I will do... I'll get echo, right? I'll do get echo. And then value or. And then I'll pass in a point to resolve to. And then let's just, for now, do negative 1000 world position. Negative 1000. Yeah. And then this can be a singularity point. There. Okay. Then I don't have to check if not world position. It's always going to be there. Yeah. So I just need to update that here. Okay. That should be enough for now. So that'll give us a world position for the echo if it's there. Otherwise, it'll just give us negative 1000, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that should get rid of that seg fault. In theory. Fingers crossed this build is faster. Should be. Yeah. I think that should fix our seg fault. I think that should do it. And then we'll get we'll convert that to a screen position, and we'll just get the Y off of that. And then we're still watching the inertial echo generation, so the element, basically it'll get mounted, it'll have these like properties on it, then it'll start watching the lander UI model and the camera model both. The element will be assigned a echo index that it's going to track, and then yeah, and the lander, we'll get the lander, we'll get the echo position in the world, we'll translate that into a screen position, and then we'll return that. Let me change these names. Echo screen position. Screen position. Echo screen position. Oof. There you go. Okay. That should be good. Yeah, I think I'll switch to Aciprite while this is building. Where's Aciprite? Right here. Okay. And yeah, while that builds, we can just watch. We can work on the sprite that we'll use. So let's say we do like a 32 by 32, something like that. 32 by 32. Yeah. Okay. And it's a big timeline. I don't need all that. I'm just gonna make it white And then that way I can like change it to whatever color I want it to be in the engine. Okay. What I want is I want a line going straight down. Alright, let me change my color to white, actually. Oh, wow, you guys can't even see this. I totally fucked that up. I had Asprite open, but my bad. I'll show it in a second. But for now, we're actually good. The build's finished, so let's see. Let's see if we still get that seg fault. It's looking good so far. No issues with the seg fault, but I don't see really any of the echoes. So that's interesting to me. I would expect to see them somewhere on the screen. Huh. Echo screen position. I guess maybe I'll see out the screen position. Oopsies. Echo screen position Y. Alright. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, and while that build runs, I'll actually open up Asprite. We can actually see what I'm doing. And yeah, so I'm gonna start designing what this, what these are gonna look like. So I want to use the line tool. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make a line going straight down, and then a line going straight across. And then I want a perfect square like that. Now I actually don't want as much of the left and right. I want it to be more like that. And I think I want this to be like a semi-transparent white, so that when I actually go and fill it in, it will, like when I tint it in the engine, it'll actually look tinted to the color that I choose to tint it to. Okay. Now, the other thing I'll say is I think what I want to do here is maybe add a little bit more dimensionality to it. So I'll extend this a little bit. We'll see how this looks in the game. Maybe we'll hate it, but looks fine for now. And then I almost want to like, I don't mind this like perfect cross thing here, but I kind of want to make it look a little more fancy. I wonder if just removing a few pixels like that. No, too much. Maybe that'll. It's my pencil tool. Okay, too large. Fill these in. Okay, now that should be the same color, and then. Okay. we'll play with it. Maybe I'll round these off a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like the build actually finished, so we can go back and see what the screen position is. Yeah, screen positions are being really weird. Look at this. These screen positions are definitely not correct. Okay. I'm taking a world position and I'm converting it to a screen position. That should work. Let me see, when I do entity screen position in other places, interactable prompt display being one of these places, I take the world position of some item, I get the camera, I convert world to screen, and then I get the point, and then I pass that in entity screen. Where do I actually use that? Yeah, I use it. Okay. So, what's my issue then? Is it my world position for the lander? Let me see. Lander in inertial echo tracker. I just get lander position, which, yeah, that's in world position. So that should be fine. Okay. What I'll do, I want to see what the world position is, I guess. So let's just log that out as well. Because there's no way that that's gotta be wrong. Whatever's in there has gotta be wrong. Meanwhile, while that builds, we can go back to some Aciprite for now. Soften these corners up a little bit. How's that look? I almost feel like I made this box a little too big. I don't know. Because it's going to be like... on screen, it's going to be like this big. Let me add a background, see how this looks with the background. Layer. Jeez, why can't I move the layer? It's been a while since I've touched Aciprite, but it hasn't been this long. Oh, I forgot there's like a specific little spot where you gotta click it. Okay, so let's say I have like a relatively dark blue background. That navy blue kind of thing going on. Let me fill that in. That's how that would look. And then this would realistically, it wouldn't be white. It would be like red. Is there an easy way in Aciprite for me to change the view of this layer? Edit. No. Place color, maybe. No, it's not it. Okay, well, what if I just take a red, low opacity, increase my brush size. How do I make that? What was the? There was like a specific command to increase your brush size with the mouse. It's control, no. Command alt, no, whatever. Okay, looks like that build finished. Hop back over to the game. Okay, we'll see. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's just always returning -1000, -1000. Why? Oh, right, we're never... Yikes. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. We're never actually calling inertial echo tracker update. Yeah. We have a lander. Lander has an update function. So... yeah. If it's... I only want to really update the inertial echo tracker if we're not landed. If not, is landed. And not frozen. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. I think that'll actually work now. Oh. And then yeah, while that builds, I'll go back to Aciprite for a bit. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to see how this is gonna look in well, I want to get a good idea of what this is gonna look like in the game. Effects, no. Fill? Oh, okay. Alright, I gotta look this up. What, like, how do I... Aciprite mouse shortcut to increase brush size. Hold control and scroll the mouse wheel up. Okay, I definitely did that. Hold control, oops. Hold control, that's me holding control. Holding command just does the zoom. Control shift, that's not it. Alt, no. No, okay. Do I have something set up for this? Where is this? Where would my custom like hotkeys be? File. Where would my... No. I just want to find my hotkeys. I just want to know what my hotkeys are. Where are they? Alright, well, whatever. Back to the game. Build finished. Okay, let's see. So as long as the lander's not landed and it's not frozen, which should be immediately, we should start seeing little blips appear on the screen. Not quite. Maybe is my Z index too low? Is that what it is? It could be. Because these should be pretty noticeable. I feel like I would see them. I'll try setting my Z index to like 1,000 just to test. Because I didn't have one set. And this is a direct child of the it's a direct child of the main game panel, but that gets kind of rendered below Z index wise. It gets rendered below the actual game screen. So I'm guessing maybe that's why. Maybe my Z index was too low. I couldn't see them. Putting it to 1,000 should at least let me see it. Okay, back to right. I just want to change my brush size easily. Where's my brush? Where's my... There we go. Okay. Okay. So let's say I do like a red color, right? How does this look in red? Yeah. It's not gonna be perfect, but it'll give me the idea. So if it's red, it'll look like that. And then if we look at it roughly how it'll actually look on screen, it'll look kind of like that. I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't think it looks that good. It's gonna be like this size. I think, you know what it might be? What I might not like about it? I think it's this box. Like, maybe I think I want to do like a diagonal here instead of what I do have. So like here, line tool. Yeah, there you go. So from here to here kind of thing. Like that. And then get rid of these. I think that'll look a little better. Okay. Don't want to remove those. Does it look better with it or without them? Yeah, I think it looks better without them. Okay. Yeah. And I can fill this in to soften it up a little bit. Something like this, maybe. How do we feel about that? And then maybe I erase that like that. Yeah, I think maybe that'll look decent. Let's try it on all four. So that'll look kind of like almost like a special looking star, I guess. We'll see. Looks like my build finished though, so we can go back, take a look, and if we're lucky, we'll just see some little red blips, or yeah, they're red. I have them red. Little red blips, happy little blips on the screen. Okay. Those are rendering in a weird spot. Can I reach them? Like if I fly towards them, can I get to them? No, I can't reach them. I can't go fast enough. Okay, something's wrong with them. Something is wrong with how these blips are being placed. Yeah. How often are these blips getting updated? Because they should only be getting updated once a second. Oh, you know what it might be? I am transforming the world position, but I don't think I'm accounting for... I'm transforming world to screen, but I don't think I'm accounting for the offset that I'm using for the, like, camera, or like the little screen that's showing up. Because it's like... This is the screen position on the... Like, if we were doing it relative to the full-size screen, but then the actual game window renders on a smaller subscreen. I think I had to do something similar to this for my sticky flight HUD. Sticky flight HUD. I'm pretty sure it was like the actual position of the HUD or something like that. Because the actual position of the HUD tracks the lander. Yeah, so lander screen position. Yeah. And then we get the parent. You get the lander screen X position. And we subtract the parent. We subtract the parent's width divided by 2. Why do we do that? Okay. This is really similar to what we're doing in the other place, right? Over here. Except we get the parent. We figure out, is this just because this tracks the height? Oh, no. Because we're doing the same thing for the Y. Is it just because we want it to be relative to the center of the screen? I think that's what it is. Okay, I'll try that. I think that's what might be what I'm missing here. Yeah. So then I'll get the parent. Okay, I'll get the parent. And then effectively all I need to do is well, no, actually that doesn't make sense to me, because lander screen Y position, that should be the actual position where the lander is on the screen, which is effectively what this is, our echo screen position. And then we convert that We convert that from the echo world position. The only reason we got parent here was because we took a look at the padding and we used that to figure out if we were past a certain limit and to clamp to that. Lander screen Y position. Let me watch the Y and the zoom as well here while I'm here. Do the same thing down here, just because I noticed it. Zoom Y, zoom. Okay, but that's not gonna fix the issue. Why are these? It's like they were fine at first. They were showing up at the correct spot, and then as soon as we started moving, that's when things fucked up. I got it's directly on the lander. I press enter, boom, immediately it's gone. What about when I have... No, that won't work either. I was gonna check to see how I'm doing it for the prompt that shows up to let you exit the lander, but that's just based off of the sticky flight HUD, which is based off of the lander's position. This is why I'm kind of confused here. Because the sticky flight HUD always centers itself around the lander's position, but I was gonna say the lander's always on the center of the screen, but that's not the case either. The lander travels up and down on the screen. Huh. Okay, well, what about when I do render entity CPP debug, render debug frame. But this is this rendered in world coordinates? By default, renderables are in world coordinates. So that's why. Oh wait, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, what the hell? This will take the element, which is the sticky flight HUD in this case, right? Yeah. And it'll center it on whatever that screen position is, that lander screen position. Lander screen position minus L get width. Yeah. Echo world position. Inertial echo tracker. Echo screen position Y. What? What is going on? What is going on? Echo world position. I get the echo. I get the world position, right? And that world position gets converted into a screen position. Okay. Do I need to... Do I need to subtract the offset of the parent? Is that what I have to do? Maybe? Maybe? Let me see. Sticky flight HUD. Yeah, that's why. Sticky flight HUD has a position absolute on it. That's why it works. Yep. Let's try that. Okay. I think that'll help. I think that might still not be fully correct. Because I think what might happen is like as it goes out of bounds of the screen, it'll probably still render, which will look weird. But at least it should track correctly, and then I can fix that later. I think what I can do is I can just set like a clip region or something so that if anything past that region just doesn't get rendered. Yeah. Because I'm rendering it in screen space, and the screen space isn't going to care about what's in world. Or like at least the camera's not, it's not going to care what's in or out of the view of the camera, is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm going to pop back into Aciprite for a second. So I think this looks not too bad for like the echo position. And then if it's colored red or green or whatever, that should look decent. Let's see. Oh no, I used the wrong color here. God damn it. I don't like that Aspirite does that. Like if I'd use my color picker and I have like a layer, it won't give me the layer, like the color on that layer. It'll like do like an additive color pick. Maybe that's just like a setting of the eyedropper tool or something. It could just be that I have it configured a certain way, but I think it's really weird that it would do it that way. Like I want, if I'm on a specific layer, I want the color of the pixel that I'm pointing at on that layer, you know? That's like the whole point of having layers. Okay, fill these in. Hopefully this looks good. Let's see. Okay, build finished. We can swap back over to that for now. Let's see. Hopefully we get these. Okay, that's still in the correct spot. Now, these points are like right there. Doesn't seem to me like they're updating correctly. I would expect that I should see more spacing between them. And they shouldn't be tracking the lander, you know? Why are they tracking the lander? Why? It's like they're being updated when they're not supposed to be or something. They all point to the same thing or something like that. Echo tracker. Okay, if current time minus echo frequency, being 1 second, is less than last echo time. Oh, I never update last echo time. That'll do it. Yeah, that's that'll definitely do it. Oh, man. I need to change my build process so that I'm not always um, copying over level editor resources when I rebuild, because like if I'm just rebuilding the game, I don't need all that stuff in the level editor to be rebuilt too. But then on the other hand, it's like since I've been working so heavily on the engine, it's like when I break something in the engine, I would want to know if it broke the level editor, you know? I should probably just make it an option where I can pass in like, oh, rebuild both or just one or the other. It just sucks because like sometimes like when you change those build flags, it'll invalidate your entire build cache and start from scratch, which I don't want to have to deal with all the time. Okay. I think regardless of what the state of this is after this build, probably gonna call it after that because it's getting late. I got like maybe 15 minutes of concentration left in me. But I have a good feeling about it this time. I think I think it'll actually correctly update the echoes and we'll see them in the right spots, and then another time I can go and actually update the like UI and graphics of it to match better instead of just being dots. It's crazy, like it's crazy how much the slow builds slow me down today. Okay, cool. Build's done. Let's see. Okay. Game starting. We got the red dot in the middle. Good. Hey, okay. Nice. This is exactly what I wanted. Alright. And now you can kind of see what your trajectory is as you're flying. Yeah. And like I thought, it goes off of the edge there, out of the screen bounds, but that's fine for now. It works. Yeah. It's a pretty decent visual indicator of how you're moving. Okay. Very nice. I think I might, I don't know. I almost don't want to show them if they're too bunched up or something. Maybe I also want to bump it to like 5. I don't know. They're going to fade out as they get further so that you don't get overwhelmed. Like you shouldn't see a bunch of these on the screen at the same time. Just like a handful. I think if I do 5 and then I have them fade out nicely, and then maybe increase the frequency to like every half second instead of every second, I think that'll be a really good visual indicator then. You guys actually see your flight path that you're taking. Yeah. Cool. Alright, well that works. Let's see, what's below me? Okay, I'm pretty close to the edge of the map now. Yep. I'm almost considering maybe just... Do I want to render those in world space? It's a UI thing, but... then I won't have to worry about all the UI validation stuff, like the clipping and stuff like that. And they should stop updating once I'm landed. Yeah. Okay, that works. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna call it here, guys. Thank you to everybody who stopped by, everybody who checked out Descent Horizon, who hung out while I was working on it. It was really great to have everybody here. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, and I'll see you guys all next week. Next Thursday, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you all there. Bye, guys.